City is just that, about interesting people in our city, in our communities, and in our surrounding areas. And I'm really excited about today's episode. I got a good friend of mine. I met this gentleman maybe 3 years ago. We had a logo for him. We met right at the former coffee shop.
Absolutely.
And we continue to stay in touch. And he's just a really good brother who's doing a lot of positive things here in the Northwest Indiana area, and especially in the Gary community. So I want to welcome to in the city my good friend and brother, William Godwin. How you doing, William?
Thank you.
All right.
Welcome.
Yeah. Welcome, man. This is nice. So this is your office.
It is.
So you have a very interesting background. When I met you, you had several businesses, and real estate has always been like that from the foundation, right?
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about your journey into real estate. Like, how did you get into doing this?
So during my first year of law school, I started really reading about this guy named Dempsey Travis, who created a major real estate empire in Chicago. And so as I approached my third year of law school, I had 5 weeks. And I was like, well, I'm not going to sit around and do nothing. And the economy was terrible. It was 2009. So I said, well, this is a good time to learn real estate because brokers and investors are going to have a lot of time to teach you. So I went and got my license. At that point, I was licensed only in Illinois. And on the side, for the next 5-6 years, I just did real estate part-time. If I did 2 deals, 3 deals, 4 deals a year, that was great.
That was good.
Because I was doing stuff in workforce development, I was doing stuff with nonprofits, so I had other things going on. But 3 years ago, I was like, you know what? I've had a house out at that point for 7 years. I'd owned a house in Miller, Gary since 2008. Why not open up my own real estate company? Inspired by the gentleman I told you about earlier, Dempsey Travis, I'll call my company Godwin Realty Company. And we'll just try it out and see what happens.
So you tried it out, and I'm assuming that it was successful.
It has been wildly successful. And
you see Godwin Realty signs all throughout the area. So many new businesses are popping up, and it really has that Harlem Renaissance feel of just pride in business ownership. So what do you feel when you're in this area? Because like the energy is popping. You've got Tequila and Tacos, 18th Street. You've got so many different vibrations, so many different businesses around here. Like, how is that energy?
It's a strong sense of community, right? So we all work together. One of the things that I decided as a young company is that we would recycle the dollar as much as possible. So our yard signs were designed with my counsel, but she was the creative mind behind it, by Jennifer Taylor, who's my next door neighbor. Who's an artist, who has an art gallery. She does art parties. When the signs need to be printed, they're done at the next office over, which is Sunny's Photography, right? So amazing place. So our signs were created here, they were printed here.
So I can't think that the values we have just kind of came innately, right? They had to come from a firm foundation, mother, your father. So talk to me a little bit about your upbringing, your childhood.
Yeah, I grew up in the South. I'm a country boy.
The country boy,
absolutely.
So Southern hospitality.
Exactly. So I grew up in Tennessee, in a town called Jackson. It's college town, Lane College, HBCU, right in between Memphis and Nashville, surrounded by love. So family, friends, mentors, leaders, lawyers, all of that. From the time I was 10 years old, I was a childhood preacher. Right? So I grew up in churches.
So you were a prodigy. You were
I had a lot of good opportunities. And at 11 years old, I started working in the president's office at Lane College, where I got to just understand how does an office work? How do you talk to people? How do you communicate in professional environments? So I was really thrust, into maturity at a young age.
Now, were your parents, was your mom or dad saying you're moving a little too fast? We want you to focus on doing kid stuff, right? Play with your friends, go outside and get dirty. Or more so like promoting it.
I think my dad wanted me to do more of that. I was the kind of, they put me at the Boys and Girls Club one summer. I lasted for about 2 weeks. And what happened, I wrote a letter to the president of the college, and I saw older students who were in high school who were working summer jobs. I was like, I don't want to be at some summer camp. I want a job. I was like 11.
Wow.
So I wrote up a letter saying I would love to work on campus. They put me in maintenance and landscaping until the person who was over HR said, wait a minute, he's 11 years old, he cannot be cutting grass, right? Exactly. So the president, he felt bad. He was like, I don't want to fire this young man. So how about I let him work in my office? He can do that. So I delivered mail around campus. I would type up things. I would answer the phone. So I got a lot of great skills, and my parents, I have to thank them for allowing me to be abnormal.
Catch off guard.
So let's stop. Edit all that just happened. Well, we gotta be authentic, right?
Oh, it's authentic.
Gotta be real.
Now, what made you want to set up shop right here on Bay Street? Because I think that with your background, you can go anywhere. And Gary is a great place, right? Don't get me wrong, but it's a great place. But what made you want to stay local, stay home?
2008, when I bought my house here, this did not look like it does now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And over the course of 2009, 10, 11, you saw a lot of stuff pop up. Not always the most professional.
No.
Not all the most interesting or related to what the community wants.
Which really makes me draw that question in. Wow.
Yeah. So, the Miller Beach Arts and Creative District, to me, did an amazing job of really inspiring artists, inspiring art lovers to get engaged. So, I used to play around. And a few of those paintings in the office are actually ones that I did.
Really?
And
you didn't tell us that.
See, I didn't talk about that.
We gotta go back in.
See if you can identify which ones, right? So they had a few events where you could bring your artwork and you could sell it. So I did that at the Miller Bakery when the bakery was not open.
Yeah.
But they were opening it for vendors to show their work. And I was like, wow, this is really cool. What's happening here?
That's why.
And as things kept getting better and better, and I watched more stores open, I was going to these stores, eating in them, buying gifts. I was like, a real estate office would look really good here, and it would mix very nicely into what's happening on the street. And so it's important to me, as a homeowner here, as someone who's invested in the community by starting a business from scratch, that the community actually continue to get better, so that I can continue to do business here, but so I can also enjoy being part of this community, because there's great people here.
Now, what's important to you as not just a business owner here, but as somebody who lives and breathes this area? What's important to you?
It's very important to me that we're sustainable, right? Economically, that we continue to be inclusive of all different types of people, that we appreciate the natural environment. That Lake Michigan, right, is a tremendous asset that I think a lot of folks take for granted. But where can you live on or very near a freshwater source at the price points that we're able to do it? And I'd say lastly, the community, the people, the tons of organizations we have, the Etna Manor Revitalization Program, right, which is just down the street on Lake Street, all of Etna, to the Miller Historical Society or the Miller Garden Club. It's just really amazing what is happening.
What do you think will help a business grow? What are the key things? What's the secret sauce?
Yeah.
I want to rephrase the question, because I had another question come before I ask that question. What has helped you sustain? And then what do you think will help other businesses?
3 things. You got to start. I think a lot of
just
folks,
do it.
You just got to start, right? Just do it. Check mark, swoosh, People analyze and they have millions of plans. And you start doing all this planning and analysis to the point where you scare yourself out of starting.
So are you more of a planner or more of a doer?
I'm more of a doer, but here's the deal. You do it in small parts, small increments. So look, if you have an idea, you don't go spend $100,000, right, or buy some big place. You say, look, you want to sell real estate? Where did I start? In my guest bedroom. I didn't have a rent that I had to pay. If you have a widget or some creation you're making, try it on a small scale to see if people might be interested in it. But also, you're able to perfect whatever it is you're doing.
Like the same. How do you eat that? Piece by piece.
Piece by piece. And what happens, I think some people, they just go all in and then they become overwhelmed by the process. And in the meantime, they've spent a lot of money and people may not even want what you're selling.
As it relates to us supporting small businesses, we have a lot. I think Gary is becoming even more saturated with the small business sector. Now, how do you think that the small businesses should be supported by the residents here?
Extraordinarily, right? I think people should go out of their way, to help businesses succeed.
Definitely.
And that's part of our whole business philosophy. But just as a homeowner here, as a resident, I want to have businesses in my community. I want to be able to go out and have dinner, to go buy a gift, to go have basic services without having to drive 30 miles to do it.
Yes.
And that not only increases my property value, but it enhances my quality of life.
Definitely.
And what I tell folks is look for it to see if it's here. And if it's here, give it a chance. Give it a second chance, a third chance. And if you run into problems, tell the owner. Don't tell Yelp. Don't tell Facebook. Talk to the owner.
It's hard to recover from that Facebook
Give them some
post.
feedback, right?
It just takes one post to destroy it.
Exactly. And like I say, 99% of the small businesses, they aren't funded by some Silicon Valley investment firm. They are funded by their hard-earned savings, their second or third job that they're doing to finance their entrepreneurial ventures. They can't handle that kind of marketing crisis, right? They need your support, and they need our support, and we got to market them. When you go places, check in. Tell your friends about it. So I think it's what we're seeing all around the country is that you don't see many big box places anymore.
No.
Right?
No.
Folks want local, homegrown, even your food. We want to know what farm did it grow on, right? Where was it raised? And so I think there's a return to the local, to the small, to that which you can connect to, right? I might go to your restaurant on Saturday and sit next to you at church on Sunday. Right? Really? And you might be at my house on Monday evening at a party, right? So it's the interrelatedness of our business life, of our social life, and of our personal life.
It's community.
Absolutely.
And that's what this show is about. I want to thank you so much, William.
Thank you. This was great.
Man. Appreciate it so much. Hope you guys enjoyed it. This has been In the City with our very special guest, William Godwin. Will, if people want to buy a house from you, like where can they call you? Do you have social media?
Yeah.
Where can they go?
So 219-916-5507. You can follow us at Godwin Realty. You can Google Godwin Realty and a web page will come up. So there are multiple ways to get to us. You can come to 617 South Lake Street right here. Schedule your private consultation and enjoy some beautiful art in the process, right?
Awesome.
We got it covered.
Buy a house, okay?
Let's do it.
Thanks so much. And I'll see you guys next time. This is In the City. We out.
Thank you.